I want to. Hello, everyone. I always jump when I hear the bell, and I've heard that bell a lot. Right, Bennett?
It's our 25th episode, so 25 times.
Oh, my God. 25. I remember 25. Let me come back. No Percy today.
Aw.
He has whiplash. I know my baby hit his head on a kitchen cabinet so hard. His head went back like that, and he ended up with whiplash. But every day he gets better.
Yeah.
Every day. And I tell him, I want you to get well because I like an opponent that fights well.
Oh.
You know? What good is a wife that has a husband that can't move his neck and can't, you know? It's like,
Get well
you
soon,
know,
Percy.
that's right. Oh, he understands my silliness. He said, you need
Yeah.
to tone it down. I can't laugh. I can't laugh. I can't laugh. And I'll be like, okay, then I say something funny. It's part of me. I
Yeah.
can't help it.
Your grandma, you're crazy.
Which is the podcast you're listening to. Welcome to Victoriously Crazy Podcast. I'm Marilyn Harris. Percy isn't here, Percy Smith, but he'll be back. So Tori fixes Beck and Jade. That was a fun episode. I don't have the script. I didn't keep a lot of the scripts except for my favorite, Driving Tori Crazy. But I do kind of remember it. I remember how it went. Beck and Jade, they've been broken up a while, and Tori makes it her mission to get Beck another girl because she likes him and she hates to see her boy upset and sad and all that kind of stuff. And they end up having some kind of meeting in the janitor's closet. And there's this girl named Meredith that he's did a play with that he kind of had an attraction to, and she likes him, but Jay doesn't like this girl. So he's a little concerned about dating her because he feels, Jade is not subtle. And when she doesn't like something, she lets you know she doesn't like it. So Tori's trying to convince him, the scene I remember in the janitor's closet about, you should go out with her. She's a nice girl. And he's like, well, Jade will be really upset. And she's like, but you should go out with her. You guys are broken up. And I think Sinjin was listening outside the door. I kind of got this from one of the clips I saw. And he opens the door and said, I'll volunteer. And nope, nobody wants Sinjin. I'm sorry, dude. But
There's someone out there for everybody, though.
Oh, that's true. That's true. There is, but not on this episode. So he volunteers, and they kind of gently tells him, no, thank you. But they come up with the idea, which is another theme of the show, of them trying to find certain guys to date Jade, and she goes through these scenarios where she chases them and scares them and all this kind of stuff. So I think the first time Andre's grandma kind of comes up in this episode is not where you actually physically see her. She's on the phone, I believe, with Andre. Is that right?
Yeah. You were so loud that they told him, take it off a speakerphone, and he said, she's not on speakerphone.
and Tori's like, oh my God. And Beck was like, whoa. Because she was extremely loud. You know how they filmed that? They had me in a little corner in the studio with a mic.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about that. Do you remember which set you were near, or was it like a sound booth?
It wasn't a sound booth. It was just a dark corner of the studio, and they had a mic like we have our podcast mic. They had a chair for me to sit on, and they fed me my lines. And I said about 2 or 3. I don't really remember what they were, but it was the usual crazy Andre's grandma stuff. And they ended up going with the one where there's a tree in my living room. And he's like, Grandma, you're in the backyard. But it was so funny because the first part of the script is, Andre, are you there? And that's when Beck says, take it off a speakerphone. You know that's rude when people have a whole conversation on a speakerphone.
Oh, yeah.
I ran into that at the market the other day.
Oh, yeah?
And dude was, a whole conversation. I believe it was his mother, because he says, can I bring the kids over and you watch it? He's like, no. She was like, I'm busy. And he's like, can I come over? Can you cook me something to eat? She's like, no. I think it was a freeloading son or something, because she just kept saying no. But he kept talking to her. He finally got a yes out of her for something. I don't remember what it was. So I'm screaming to Andre about there being a tree in my living room. Beck's like, take it off a speakerphone. And he said, it's not on speakerphone. And I died when Tori was like, oh my God. And Beck went, whoa. He was like, because it was extremely loud. I had to really scream it to get it to sound like that. And then, like I said, the whole premise was Beck was dating this new girl, Meredith. And it was obvious he wanted Jade back, because he made a very telling statement in the closet with Tori. He said he doesn't like easy when it comes to a relationship. Do you remember that?
I do.
He likes a girl that's hard to deal with. And Meredith was like a whatever you say, I will do type of a girl. She, and that wasn't what he wanted. That's not what he liked, So it was interesting the way they kept working around that theme in the show. But the main thing was they were all preparing for this big show that they were going to have at the school, where they all were going to perform and do all that kind of stuff. Now, this episode was my first episode and only episode that I worked with Matt Bennett. He had some type of, remember he had the aquarium with insects or butterflies or something in it? And for some reason, Kat stuck her head in there, remember?
What do they call it? The butterfly?
That whole butterfly.
Not the museum. Oh, what is it called? I wish I remembered off the top of my head. I swear I know what it's called. It'll come to you.
While we're talking about it, if it comes to you, you just scream it out. And I'll be like,
not as loud as you
right.
Scream, but yes.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know how you did that and not damage your vocal cords, by the way.
I was hoarse by the end. I mean, yeah, you're right. My vocal cords didn't take any damage or anything. But once I was fully aware of what the character was about, I would always try to make sure that my throat was ready, because the script just says yell. It doesn't say how you yell or what your physicality is when you yell, They just want the loudness, but you have to make it funny and add all that other stuff. So the other scene that I remember from that episode was really weird. This is the first time Andre's grandma actually tried to have a conversation without screaming. Do you remember that?
It was like an evolution of your character.
It was like she was comfortable in that environment. She was there to see her grandson. She wanted to talk to somebody. So she was talking to this kid over by, I guess, the snack table or whatever, telling him she's from Wisconsin. And where are you from? And it scared the heebie-jeebies out of him. He was like, he didn't know how special he was.
Yeah.
Because she actually had a conversation. And that's what I like about Dan's writing, is the continuity is so tight. Because she mentioned she was from Wisconsin before.
In a webisode.
In a webisode. There you go, Bennett. In a webisode. And so she mentioned she's from Wisconsin. She asked, where he's from.
Butterfly Motel. Sorry.
I knew it. I knew you would remember. Butterfly Motel. And it was crazy because Robbie had this thing, and was it a school project or what?
Yeah, well,
who carries around that,
Because the thing is, it was tied in with Kat's storyline, because Kat had the butterfly in her ear.
Right.
And Robbie's the one that said, "Excuse me, Andre's grandma, Kat has a butterfly in her ear." And then you said,
in her ear, like, how did that happen? And he knew I could yell it out. But the thing is, Kat stuck her head in the butterfly motel for some reason. Right. That's what I remember, because Robbie brought it to the event, and it has some kind of significance. I'm sorry if I don't remember very much, because it was in and out. I was in and out of this episode. It wasn't like there was like a straight scene like with the oatmeal dump. It was kind of an in and out thing. I was mingling and talking, a little bit with that one guy that ran off. In the meantime, Kat was fascinated with Robbie's butterfly motel, and she stuck her head in there, and a butterfly got in her ear. And when she pulled her head out, it was in there, and it wouldn't fly out. It was stuck, and they was trying to figure out how to get it out. And then in between, there were scenes of guys trying to date Jade, but she was scaring them off with her
some nerve
personality.
With her. You got guts.
Yeah, I know, but I think they eventually had to pay someone. There's a word for people that get paid to date people in high school, but who knows?
I have a question. Do you think that Meredith, the girl Tori was trying to set up Beck with, looked at all like Tori?
She looked exactly like Tori. To me. I mean, she had the long brown hair, the sweet little face. Did you notice that too?
So now I'm thinking, and I don't know why.
What was that about?
I mean, this is one of those, like, people are watching going, oh, that's so obvious. But when there's so many episodes and you analyze it, you forget. But now I'm thinking, was that an obvious subconscious effort on her part to either hint to him that she loved him, or like deal with the fact that she loved him by setting him up with somebody who looked exactly like her? Because she couldn't have him,
and
for
somebody
herself.
That would not work. That's true.
Because she and Beck would never
and
work.
Someone that would not work. Yeah. Because Meredith was whatever you want. Do you like donuts? I like donuts. You want to do this? Okay, we'll do this. He didn't like that at all.
Yeah. Or maybe it's like testing the waters, because if Tori sets him up with somebody that's like her, she's like, okay, do Beck and Meredith work? If they do, maybe I have a shot with him, but if they don't, okay. And this was after the events of, them trying to work it in the past, but that's just a thought I had.
It may have been a subconscious thing. And then I think there was an episode somewhere along the line where they did discover there was an attraction, but they realized it just wasn't worth the trouble of.
But that was before
Jade,
this one.
Before this one, right?
Tori goes platinum. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they knew that there was a possibility there, but they just never, they never took that route because it was too messy.
Yeah.
You know how it could be, because it's like, okay, this may be fun. This is a nice person, but she's my cousin. No, I'm just kidding. But it's messy. It's the ex of my best friend or my friend or and you just like, it's not worth it. Because when relationships are hard enough without you going into something that already has roadblocks already set up. But it could have been because she totally ignored his statement that he didn't like easy. He liked a girl that was a challenge, that was, quote, hard. But she encouraged him to go out with her. And then it turned out she was super easy.
Too easy.
When they were too easy. And I don't mean easy as an intimate way, but easy as far as no opinion whatsoever.
You don't want that.
Do you want a soda? Do you want a soda? Yeah, I want a soda. Well, I want a soda. There's no work. I don't even remember why they broke up. Did they address that, Bennett? Do you remember if that came up at all? Maybe he got tired of her being bossy. I think I remember that kind of.
It all came to a halt in the episode called The Worst Couple. Sinjin actually developed his own game show called Queries for Couples, where they all got together and most of them weren't actually, I think Beck and Jade were the only actual real couple, right? And the irony was that all these other characters that were pairing up that weren't real couples knew all these things about each other, because it was like, how much do you know about your partner? And Beck and
that'll
Jade,
get you in trouble every time.
Well, right, and like they just like got into these arguments doing this game show, and it just really made them realize that they weren't right for each other. Again, sort of that irony that like they were the only real couple there, and yet they knew the least about each other and what they really wanted and needed from each other. And then it was at Tori's house, I think that same night, where they all went back after the game show filming, and they broke up, I believe, outside of Tori's front door. and they just called it off.
Another reason for her not to like Tori.
Yeah, there's a lot of...
Yeah, I'm breaking up with you at this girl's house that I don't like. Okay, yeah, that helps. That's crazy. Way back in the day, there was a game show called The Newlywed Game.
Where they was at that.
Yeah, they probably did. And some of those newlyweds would be kind of mad at the end of the show because they couldn't get any points because they didn't really know that much about each other. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
You know, like basic stuff like favorite color and, you know, food and that kind of thing. It's crazy. I know Percy's favorite color is orange, and he likes short ribs. He cooks them really well. So I'll pass on those 2 points. So anyway, Meredith was driving him crazy because she was too compliant. She wanted everything that he wanted. He wanted a little bit of a snarl and growl and get mad and all this kind of stuff up there. And it wasn't happening. And so this concert was going on. To get back to the cat situation, she had the butterfly in her ear. Her and Robbie was trying everything to get this butterfly out. And they couldn't do it. And then Robbie came up with the brilliant idea of going to Andre's grandma and letting her scream the butterfly out. So he had courage. He drags her over there and he says, she has a butterfly in her ear. And grandma goes like, in her ear? Like, I'm crazy, but I don't have that problem. Yeah, I like the way I did that line because I did it like, I'm not judging you, but something wrong with you to have a butterfly in your ear. So then I went into action. I grabbed her by both her shoulders. I'm like, which ear? She kind of lets me know. I grab her. I turn her so I can get my mouth over her. And I scream, hey! Now, if you listen real close, I'm hoarse by then because I have been doing a whole lot of screaming in that episode, and I may have it out of order. I don't know if Trina's episode, her scene came before or after this. And all those kids that were around were fans of Andre's grandma, so they had to put on their acting face and not be looking at me like, you know, and they had to actually do their thing. But I'll tell you about
like the
that.
Extras or whatever.
All the extras. And when I walked out there to watch them do a scene, they mobbed me. Wow. They came running at me and they practically tackled me. Everybody was horrified except me. I started laughing because I thought it was funny. They started asking me for autographs and they're looking like, what's happening? Because the fan base was, I think, stronger than I know. I didn't realize it. And I didn't realize that it's kind of routine not to interact that much with fans. I've always done that, you know. I talk with them. I ask them their names. I give them an autograph or whatever. I was never, I mean, maybe it's because I had so many grandkids. I was, you know, it didn't bother me, not one bit. So by the time we got ready to do that scene, we were all very comfortable with each other. There had to be at least 30 kids there, you know, because it was a concert. For the school. So when we're standing there by the snack table and I scream in Kat's ear for the butterfly, hey butterfly, get out of there. I don't know if you noticed, but I screamed in one ear, the butterfly flew out another, like there's no brain in that girl's head. Okay. Did you ever pick up on that?
No, and it makes
I thought
me just
that was
think
crazy.
That must be either what they call a goof or brilliant writing.
Oh, it was a joke. It was brilliant writing. It was a brilliant joke. Because she always was kind of ditzy. Hi. I can't do it like Stina did it. That was funny. Like a whisper on the wind. Like well, I see why they called her Cat. That may be another inside thing. Because her voice was like a cat that had his tail stuck on or something. Yeah, no. But I screamed in one ear and the butterfly came out another ear. And she's like, oh, it's out. And I'm like, bye. Because I'm thinking, did I just see what I saw? But I was smiling. And I ran off because I did something productive that day.
Yeah.
You know, because usually I don't. Usually I'm messing up things for Andre. So I don't know if that scene came, the scene where we're all watching them sing. It had to be afterwards, because all of a sudden we're all like kind of on the grass and in chairs and all this. And Andre comes out on stage to make some kind of announcement. And I start doing my thing. Hey, Andre, that's my grandson. Andre, hey, Andre. And he's saying, what is it? Walks up, pops his collar and walks off. And I kept on screaming after he left. And that's when Trina's like, well, you stop screaming. And I jumped up like, are you talking to me? I got up in her face like, we about to dust it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because you don't tell Andre's grandma to be quiet. No.
How is that working with Daniela?
It was fun. She's the only person that could stay in character and not break character and start laughing when I go into this whole crazy Andre's grandma thing. Some of them would kind of like do a little smirk or try to choke down a laugh or something like that. But she was very, very focused. And, you know, her character was quirky anyway. So, you know, her character was always doing something crazy, trying to get attention, trying to get discovered. But she was great. She knew her lines. She didn't mind me getting up in her face, and I didn't mind her getting up in my face. And, you know, and I think we must have filmed that maybe about three ways. That's usually the standard. It's usually about 3 ways, you know, that they film it and stuff like that. So, and some information was planted in that Yell Fest where I said I had been screaming for 53 years or something like that.
And you said, are you trying to scream louder, right?
Oh, yeah. I was highly insulted because I'm the scream queen. Yeah. Nobody screams louder than me, you know. And she was like, just shut up. I don't think she said those words, you know. But she was like, screaming louder than you. Exactly. And she proved her point. But at some point, you know, it was a draw and we just both had to back down. But I think we jumped up and did it again, if I remember right.
Yeah.
You know, but it was kind of funny. And when it was over, we kind of laughed. I kind of remember a hug. But then if I was still in character, I wouldn't have hugged her. Nah.
They wouldn't show it at least.
No. Oh, of course not. They wouldn't show it. And it was funny because speaking of wouldn't show, there was a scene that didn't make it into the episode where Tori came over to the snack table. I think it was right after I screamed the butterfly out of Kat's ear. And, you know, she's trying to have a conversation. She's like, hi, Andre's grandma, how you doing? And she turned to get some food and I whacked her hard on the butt. Wham! And she jumped like, oh! They didn't show that. It was so funny. And Dan kept saying, whack her hard. I said, how hard? Because I can get hard. He said, hard. I said, okay. Because she's crazy. Somebody say hi to you and then they turn and you whack them and run off. And that's what I did. It was crazy. I was laughing.
Second time that they cut a scene with you and Tori because you were in her house or in the bushes for Christmas Tori, but that's the second time that they cut a moment with you and Tori.
I think they wanted to they didn't want to overfeed you with her craziness. Yeah. And there were so many scenes I had in that episode.
Oh, yeah.
And it didn't really, even though she was crazy, it didn't kind of fit. If I was going to whack anybody, it should have been Kat after getting a butterfly, you know, out of her ear, or maybe Robbie for bringing her over to me and me saying, I did it. Aren't you proud of me? Type of a thing. But I never try to analyze or figure out what it is. I just do what they tell me to do. And they have time constraints, you know, so, right. And it was such a big musical scene also that it, you know, I mean, they had an actual live band and they were all singing. They were all actually singing and the band and the dancing and all that. And that as the show went on became a huge, huge part of the show. You expected to see singing and dancing at some point. And it would kind of usually end up at the end of the episode. And you know, that's where we'll just segue into the end of the episode, where I think Jade got up and sang a song about "You Don't Know Me" or something.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow. I'm surprised I could even remember that. It was a very good song.
Yeah.
You know, and Beck was thinking about, you know, compliant Meredith that would do anything he wanted to do, and he was bored to death with her. Here's this fire girl that's talented, that could sing, that's beautiful, and yeah, you know, now I know how that ties in with the other episode where he didn't know her. You know, for the game show episode where they couldn't get those. So the song, I just realized, so that's what that song was about. Think about that.
Oh.
Yeah. Is that just coming to you as well?
Yes.
So, yeah. After all this time and watching that episode at least a couple of times, You Don't Know Me. And I think he realized that was a mistake, and he had to make more effort in that relationship. Because as relationships go, even though they both were equally deficient in their knowledge of each other, it's more emotional for a girl than it is for a boy to have someone don't know these things. A guy is like, well, I can fix that. I'll figure it out, and I'll do better in the future. And a girl's like, he don't love me. Sometimes that stuff comes with time. And, you know, sometimes it never comes because some people never open up. So it kind of depends. But I think that's why I could be reading more into it, and with so much time, it's easy for me to put my own analysis on it. But I think when that song was sang about You Don't Know Me, I think it hit him then about how that affected her, and that he really didn't want to break up, you know, and he just wanted to fix it. And the only way to shut her up was to kiss her and give her a really good kiss. And I was there encouraging him, being the cheerleader, you know, go on and get it.
Get it, baby.
Yeah, oh, get it, baby. Do it. You know.
You made this facial
and they got
expression.
back together.
I was
like, like I want to look, but I want to give them their privacy. But hey, he's kissing her on stage in front of everybody. Go on and look.
And that's all you. They're not telling you how to do that.
No, that's all. The whole physicality is me. I could have just said, get it, baby. But it's, you know, I'm looking like, oh, he's getting it. And we all know what it is. So I'm not talking about pancakes. So get that loving, get them lips, get that kiss, get back together, get that relationship, get that makeup, you know, get that girl.
Yeah.
That is perfect for you, because she's not an easy person to be with. She's hard. She's a challenge, and you like a challenge. And that was the end of the episode, right?
Yeah. The only question I had was, you told me in the past that you knew one of the guest stars from the episode who played the janitor earlier on, Luther.
I remember him in the acting world. You know, I didn't know him personally.
Oh.
But I did know him from seeing him. When you're an actor and you're out there doing all these different productions and projects and stuff, it's funny. You remember lines and you remember faces, but you cannot put them together sometime, because you have to dump out so much stuff to be able to put in the new stuff.
Right.
Because you're always memorizing new lines and dealing with new scenarios, new productions. But I did recognize him from something, so I may have worked with him or maybe not. What's his name?
P.L. Brown. Wait a second. Did you do American Crime Story?
I did.
He's in American Crime Story. I wonder if you did the same episode.
That must have been it. I did. The one about OJ. And they had a jury. They had people that were in the courtroom.
It says he played a juror.
Okay, that's where I knew him. That's where I knew him.
It's
because
7
I'm
episodes.
a very talkative. I was just there for one, but I made an impact.
Mm-hmm. As you always do.
Oh, well, thank you, Bennett. You picked up that dig for a compliment I was trying to get. It was a fun episode because I played a witness that did not like the police. The line that I had, I can't really remember. It was something like, describe hostile or something like that. And I was like, on what level? Or I said something snarky and everybody laughed. And then there was the director said, I want you to yell your line. I said, you want me to yell it? I said, how loud do you want me to get? And he didn't know me. He said, as loud as you can get. And when I did it, I swear I saw people's hair blow back. It was like,
that sounds like the set of The Victorious Pilot with your conversation with Dan when he said, how loud do you want me to get? He said, as loud as you can be.
Yeah. Because they never met my lungs and my throat and my voice. And they don't know. I can get really loud. And everybody laughed. Because they were shocked and they laughed and they were laughing at the look on the crew's face. It was just like a really funny moment. And then, he's like, maybe you could tone it down. And I was like, yeah, I thought so. That's where I knew him from. That's where I knew him from. It's, acting is a small world. It really is, And when you run, all the actors are always so cool. So when you run into them, you're happy to see them. Yeah. Everybody's cool. It's not like, or you're like trying to hit a corner so they won't see you.
Right.
So, yeah, it was a fun episode.
Well, let's get crazy with the act out.
Percy!
What? I'm actually looking into see if I can do some improv classes or acting classes myself.
You should. So. You should. Oh, Lane could definitely help you. He'd probably take you in with his group if you lived close.
Well,
but
no,
improv classes are real easy. They're easy. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's a lot of work and there's a big challenge that goes with them. But I actually never took an acting class. I just watch old Turner Classic movies because when they get ready to kiss, they go. And they fade out, they tilt their head and they close their eyes. And it's so old school. You know what I mean? It's, but I never worry about looking like a fool. I think that's what makes me good at what I do.
No, you can't. I mean, by definition, your whole brand is crazy. So
she's crazy. Yeah.
Speaking of brand, where do people need to follow and stay tuned for more?
Yeah, if you want to follow Victoriously Crazy, it's at Victoriously Crazy Podcast. We're on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. So make sure that you subscribe. That's right. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and share. We love the comments. Yeah, and we do the thing called Grand Fan Fridays, where every other Friday we release a podcast talking with a grand fan of the show. And then we have our regular podcast that we release every Wednesday, thanks to the brilliant Bennett, with guests. And in between, I talk about the episodes that I was on. I don't think we have very many left. What, Bad Roommate? Is that the last one? Yeah. And then after that, we'll get creative and figure out how to keep it going. But once it's over, it's over. But who knows when that'll be? Because there's a whole lot of subjects and different things that we could talk about. So enough of that. Percy's here. And
Percy.
Say hi, Percy.
Hey, what's up, man?
How you doing?
Yeah, put your headphones on so you can hear him.
Right, wait a minute.
Yeah, his voice is a little thick because it's that whiplash.
Yeah, I'm messed up, man.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
Do this. Roll.
I'm worried about Percy. He hit his head on a cabinet in the kitchen. He got whiplash. But I know how to fix it. Percy!
What?
I'm going to hit you on the head with some things.
Wait a minute.
One, I got some. I don't know which one going to work. Uh-oh. But I know you got whiplash. Mm-hmm. So if I hit you on the head with this clapper, do you think that'll take the whiplash away?
No.
What about a fly swat?
No.
Well, it's clean. It's ready.
No.
What about a back scratcher? The little hand could hit you like right here. This back scratcher got a little hand and a long orange handle, and it could hit you like right here. Right here. Will that help?
No.
I got a planter that I water my plants with. What if I grab it by the long spout, turn it around, and bop you on the head? Will that take it away?
Don't even try it.
I got a tambourine, and it makes music. And when it's hitting you in the head, this tambourine right here on the side, I'll flush it. I'll flush it like that. What's that lady? Charo. I'll hit you like Charo. Will that work?
Certainly not.
I got a mallet. It's rubber. It's got where I can hit you on each end. I'm hitting you right in the middle of the forehead with this. And I'm not even asking if it'll work.
Ow! What in the freakery made you freak?
Did it work?
Hit me in the freaking head with the freaking mallet would freaking help me. You made it freaking worse. Ah!
He gone. He ran out the door. I guess that's C.